Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk about the gold medal ratings for the men and the women in U.S. Olympic basketball. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit the notification bell when you do. So the ratings came out for the gold medal game, Rob, and the men's rating average was 19.5, which is the highest since the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. The women's was 7.8, which was actually the lowest since 2008. So those who are bragging about the ratings, let me go over a few other factors to tell you that it really wasn't as impressive as it sounds. And first of all, one other thing I want to point out, Rob, we have the ratings for the first two women's games and the first two men's games. The women got 3 and then 2.1 million. It went down, and that was embarrassing. So now NBC has decided not to release the ratings for their third pool game, their quarterfinals, and the semifinals. And none of the men's are available either. And I suspect the reason they don't release the men's, not because it wasn't good, but because then people can't say, well, the men's ratings are out, but the women's aren't. But for some strange reason, those 3 games are not available, even though all the other games were available after 48 hours. So you know the ratings aren't good. You know they're under 2.1 million. They went down again. At least the pool play one. I don't know about the semifinals and the quarterfinals, but you knew that one went down. Otherwise, they would have released it.
Yeah, they're afraid to do that because they don't want to see.
Right. So, anyways, the games are always played on the weekend, so that's a fair comparison from each Olympics. What's not fair is that each Olympics doesn't get the same ratings, and also they're not at the same time because there's different time zones of the Olympics. So first of all, I want to point out, when they do the Nielsen ratings in 2021, they changed the format where out-of-house ratings are now included. Oh. So the ratings that we have for the last 2 Olympics are actually higher than they would have been under the old system. So that 7.8 would actually have been lower if they used the old system. So it's not as impressive as people think.
No, not really, no.
So just so you know, so that started in 2021. It's the first time they use it. In other words, everybody at a bar, they include now when they didn't before. That kind of rating that's out of household.
Yeah.
Right? So the 7.8 would have been, I can't tell you what it would have been if they used the old system, but it would have been less than 7.8. And the 2021 would have been less than 7.9. That was during the pandemic. Anyway, so it's hard to compare because of the different time zones and everything like that, and they're playing different teams. But I will tell you that in 2012, in a non-final game, the women got 11.4 million views. That was even the finals.
Wow.
That was on NBC. It was a weekend game. All right. Also, I figured out the difference between the men and the women ratings, because you could say, well, men always get higher ratings than women. They do, but not this difference. The difference in this ratings between 19.5 and 7.8 is 60%.
Wow.
Okay. Now, in 2021, the men were only 15% higher, not 60%, 15% higher. In 2016, they were 31% higher. And in 2012, they were 18% higher. So for those 3 games, on average, the men were only 21% higher, but this time they were 60% higher. Now, is there any doubt in your mind if Caitlin Clark played, it wouldn't have been 60% higher than the women's game?
No, there's no doubt. That's an easy one. That's a softball question, Mark. That's an easy yes.
Now, Caitlin Clark, not by herself, because it was women's college basketball. The final game her junior year, when she was in the finals, they got 9.9 million. And then the next year, in Elite 8, just not even a Final Four game, she got 12.4 million. And then Final Four was 14.2. Then she got 18.9 million. And she outdrew the men. I'm not saying she was the only draw, but she was the difference. So those 4 games all outdrew the women's gold medal game. And the Olympics is way bigger than women's college basketball. In fact, this year, the ratings were up 80% in the Olympics. So that 7.8 is not impressive if you think about it. It's 80% up and way less than the men.
And also, Mark, that's just in the U.S. with Caitlin Clark. That's for the U.S. You're not even counting now if she went international, like we were saying. And all those deniers are saying that, well, she wouldn't have made that much of a factor. The team was already, already had their superstars. Well, this goes to show you that's not true either.
Well, Rob, I don't even listen to haters take them seriously. First of all, they had no point guard. And right now, Caitlin Clark, because Chelsea Gray's not healthy, is clearly the best point guard in the league. All they had was 6 shooting guards, one of which was old and shouldn't have been on the team. To say that you suddenly give him a point guard who's the best point guard in the league and add it to a team that has no point guard and not make a difference is just stupid. You look like an idiot when you say that.
Yeah,
She would have made a huge difference in that game, especially since France slowed the game down and Caitlin Clark plays up-tempo basketball.
Yeah, they're denying that, yeah, we got the best players here. We don't need them. We don't need her. We already have the best players. We have our point guard. We have our guards. And before the France game, they didn't look that great either. In the other games, against Belgium, they didn't look that great.
Right. And this is so obvious that if Enrique hadn't withdrawn her name, that Caitlin Clark and Enrique should have been on the team instead of Chelsea Gray and Diana Taurasi. They could have kept 16 people on the roster. Check out Chelsea Gray to see how her injury came. When they saw how she played, she's hobbling all over. They would have dropped her and Diana Taurasi because they were both liabilities on defense in the Olympics, and they would have added Caitlin Clark and Enrique.
And they didn't even play. And people were saying, well, if Clark was on a team, that she wouldn't get any playing time. Look at what happened to Taurasi. Well, and then she even did it with players who were really even better, I'd say, like with Young and Copper. They didn't get that much playing time.
Rob, if they didn't have a psycho for a coach, Caitlin Clark would have started. She was the only point guard that wasn't hobbling. Not playing time. She would have started with any normal coach. You
Right.
put Cheryl Miller in there as coach. Caitlin Clark is the first starter she puts in there after Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson. First starter.
Because forget about all these feelings about other people, what they say about her. You want to win. As a coach, I want to win. I don't give a crap about what these other people are saying. I want to win. I'm putting the best point guard out there. And then, and just see what happens. And they know what would have happened. They know.
And people keep claiming, oh, well, she's not the first one they would have added. Would have been Enrique. Okay, that's not even true. Even if Enrique is better than Caitlin Clark, which I'm not convinced she is, but even if she was, she added very little to the team because they had 6 shooting guards, 5 of which were very good. So, yeah, so she wouldn't even start because Copper and Jackie Young were better defenders than her. So she wouldn't even start. She'd be like the 3rd shooting guard because her defense isn't as good.
Well, those shooting guards, I'm sorry, those shooting guards didn't make much of a difference because their shooting percentage wasn't that great from the 3-point line. That's for sure.
Right. But I'm just saying Enrique was struggling to get a lot of playing time not because she wasn't a great player. She is. But they would have 5 great shooting guards on their team with her. So how do you distribute those?
Right.
Caitlin Clark comes up, one of them plays point guard for a while, and that's it. But Chelsea Gray and Diana Taurasi off the team. And that's the other thing. So, yeah, if you want to develop young players, you would stick Angel Reese on the team or Leah Boston, who I maintain is a better all-around player. But still, they're pretty comparable. But they didn't really add anything to the team other than developing them for the next Olympics. And all their forwards were their best players.
Right.
They had Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and Alyssa Thomas, who was runner-up in the MVP last year. And then Brittany Griner is their only true center, and she scored 30 points in the gold medal game against Japan 3 years ago, and she's a mismatch. So she needs to be on the team too, even though people don't like her. I get that.
Yeah, and you made a great point, Mark. The point also of the Olympics is winning, of course, but it's also development of your team. And so take a page out of the Olympic soccer team. They didn't include some players who were older, and they still won a gold medal. And they're developing a strong U.S. women's soccer team. But I mean, Taurasi had no business being there. Everybody could see that she had no business.
And again, I would be for putting Angel Reese and Leah Boston on. They only had 5 forwards on it. They'd have to take off another shooting guard, which is fine. I just don't know which one you would take off because a lot of those guards are equal in ability. Like Jewel Lloyd and Kelsey Plum are similar in ability level, and I think they're the 2 weakest of the 5 shooting guards, other than Diana Taurasi. So you have to drop Plum or Jewel Lloyd. And Jewel Lloyd was second team All-Pro the last 2 years. So I don't know what to say.
Yeah, the coach, like you said, the coach was horrible. You had Sabrina come in the third quarter. What was that?
Yeah, Sabrina Ionescu is considered a runner-up in the MVP contest this year right now, according to Las Vegas odds. She's playing great. And she got like 6 minutes, 10 minutes, and 10 minutes in the elimination games for no reason that I can think of. You know, you got the Wicked Witch of the West who plays favorites.
Definitely.
I don't understand. And they don't understand why no one paid attention to them. Why their arenas were half full when they played.
And that's why our favorite. That's why our favorite the ratings.
60% full. Just 12,000 out of 20,300. That arena fulls. 60%. Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
And that's why the ratings are. They're not showing the ratings because of that reason, of course. And everybody, those who did watch, we didn't watch, but those who did watch could see what was going on. Probably doing the same questions, asking the same questions that we were asking. Like, what are you doing? What kind of coaching is that? And you can see the player. I mean, I've never seen players for the basketball team be frustrated like Copper was.
All right. If you can't see that the most important person missing from that Olympic team was Caitlin Clark, as great as Enrique is, and in fact that you think of Alea Boston and Angel Reese should be on the team too, you're delusional. They had no point guard. You could see they struggled against France because they had no point guard. They had no up-tempo point guard. So stop it with the stupid comments that she wouldn't add. One person said she would add nothing to the team. The best point guard in the league would add nothing to the team in a team without point guards. You can't see how that stupid that comment is. You need help. Seriously, you do.
Yeah.
There's no flaw in my logic here. You have no point guard. She's the best point guard in the league. They struggled without a point guard. How is that not the number one person you want to put on the team?
And again, we're dealing with logic, Mark, which we can't do here on our show. We had the logical.
Sorry, Rob. I won't.
But it's okay today. No, today it's logical. We're getting rid of that. That's too much logic for people.
that's our take. The ratings are not as good as Jamel Hill said. Oh, I thought nobody was going to watch. Well, if you don't analyze it, yeah, it looks like a good rating. But the Olympics, like I said, the Olympics are a big deal. People love watching America play games. And that's why the ratings are always high for those games.
And some people, real quick, were getting on our case for saying we're un-American because we weren't rooting for the women's team. You missed the whole point. You didn't hear what we were saying. We were not saying that we were rooting against. We were just saying that they need to lose against, to not get that gold medal because that would wake up the Olympic Committee. And like I said before, this close game with France already proved that.
Right, Rob. We made the point and gave the good reason. They just either didn't watch the video or ignored it. And I'll go over it one more time. The reason I wanted them to lose was because these are two players got left off the team this time, Enrique and Caitlin Clark. And in the past, 3 players got screwed over big time, at least 3 players, but 3 major times there was corruption that people shouldn't have been on the team. So this is 5 players now in 4 different Olympics, and we need to end it. And the only way to end it is to get that committee and the coach fired, and the loss would have ensured that. So that's the only reason we're rooting against it. I root for Americans 100% of the time, except for in this particular case. Mm-hmm. I admit I was rooting against them when I was watching the game. And right. I'm not embarrassed about it at all. And I feel it was the right thing to do because I hate corruption in politics. And I don't want this to happen 4 years from now. I want the right players to be on the team 4 years from now, whoever the players are. They don't necessarily be the 12 best players, but the 12 best players for the team.
Right.
Which may be the 10 best players and some role players or some young players, which is what they should do, which is they've done in the past. And they refused to do it this time because they were jealous that Caitlin Clark would get all the attention, which is true, but that's not a reason to keep her off the team.
Right.
So this is 100% clear. So stop it. All right. Let us know what you think of the ratings. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit the notification bell when you do. If you like this video, hit the like button. I expect everyone to like this video except for Clark haters. And we're going to go live. Speaking of Caitlin Clark, we're going to go live on Friday against the Phoenix Mercury at 7:30 Ion, covering that game. And our normal live show is every Monday from 6 to 8 Eastern, except for major holidays. If you want to donate to this channel, you can with super chats and super thanks down below. And also, there's a link to PayPal, and we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.